Hey, what's going on? It's John. A little bit late for this kind of video. It's January 27th, and I'm doing my year in review wrap-up meeting for the year 2022. If you followed my station for a while now, I started this channel in January of 2019, and ever since then, I've done two key things as part of my yearly videos. I would do a video in the beginning of a year and share what my New Year's resolutions are, which if you're familiar with my style of objective setting, it's pretty detailed. And then at the end of the year, or the very early part of the following year, I would gauge myself on how I did. And that's what today's meeting's all about. Just a few intro words. I find this exercise to be both highly time-consuming, but both time-consuming and very rewarding. I find it very therapeutic to spend alone time, think about where I am in my life, think about the things I want to do in my life, putting it on paper, and then sharing this paper exercise out onto YouTube, because for one thing, it brings a level of accountability where I kind of project out the things I'd like to achieve, and then keeps me honest during the year where I'm doing well, where I'm not doing well, in the hope that every year I feel like I'm ending the year a little bit better, wiser, healthier, wealthier than I was when the year started. So this video is meant to be a bit mundane, but also give some context into how deeply I look at the different areas of my life and how I think I did. So let's dive right in. My 2022 goals, how did I do? And this is segmented into 7 parts. First is talking about my career and side gig. Second, health, nutrition, and body. Third, personal development and spirituality. Fourth, my family and personal relationships. Fifth, my travel and lifestyle goals. 6, my personal finances and my investments. And 7, public service and charity. So, career and side gigs. I had several goals here. First was dealing with my compensation with my job. I had several goals here. First was I was hoping to get a above average rating with my performance review, and I did get that, which set me up for a higher tier compensation. So I was hoping to realize a AA rating, which I did get in March of 2022, which was a great achievement. In terms of my compensation, I was hoping for a bonus and stock award of approximately $215,000. And in the end, what I ended up getting, greatly due to both my performance, but the company stock award I had vested did amazing. My total comp was not $215, it was $249,318, which was just an amazing accomplishment, and a little bit of luck with that stock award because I don't control that, but really blessed to have received it. And I do believe some of what we get in life both comes from the hard work we do and the kind of praying we do and what you hope to manifest in your life. So things don't always work the way you want or even come up better than you want, but when they do, it's a time to celebrate. Third was my base salary. I was hoping to get a raise of about 3%, which ended up being 4%. So my base salary went from where it was to 270 to instead be 274. So I'm really proud of that. And then lastly, like every year, I'm always looking to put myself out there to see what kind of opportunities exist in the marketplace, networking and maybe seeing if there's a new job or new connections I would make that could bring me to something better. It's hard to hear myself say that because I feel like I'm blessed to have an amazing job, but you never know. But with the economy the way that it is and the uncertainty, even in the tech industry, you hear a lot about the layoffs going on. I'm blessed to have my job. Nothing really came up, and that's okay. I'm cool with that. The next one was networking. I wanted to stay active on sites like LinkedIn and look for seminars and conferences that could help me network. LinkedIn, I did a good job. I wanted to spend at least 15 minutes a day reading posts, writing posts, commenting on posts, maybe trying to expand my network and my attention on for my profile on LinkedIn. And I did a decent job of this. I wouldn't say I hit it out of the park, but if I had to give myself a grade from a scale of F to A plus, I would give myself a B plus here. And then when it came to seminars, I wanted to pursue and actively participate in 4 career-related conferences so I can increase my network and gain relevant knowledge. I only did one of these. It's not important to explain what it is, but I ended up doing one thing in September, which was an event online, and I probably could have found more. Didn't look hard enough, I think, or maybe rejected participating in ones that maybe weren't as appealing to me, but I ended up only doing one of them. Then when it came to YouTube and Instagram, I was looking to build my subscriber base from YouTube to about 1,000 subscribers and publish over 25 videos. I did not hit 1,000. I think I'm close to 470 subscribers on YouTube. And then I did do a lot of videos. I think I did hit the 25 videos. I didn't count it, but it was nothing amazing. I got lazy at some points. I didn't have the time to do edits. I just fell out of, the aggressiveness of trying to do that. On Instagram, funny enough, I was hoping for 500 followers, and I had a few videos that seemed to take off for some reason. And my Instagram page went up to like 7,000 followers, which, I'm not selling something, so it's more cool than it is critical. But I did a couple of posts regarding my fitness and my dog. We recently got a puppy, a golden retriever, and for whatever reason that thing blew up, and I got a lot of like dog lovers now following my page. My wife actually started an Instagram page for our puppy. We got a cream-colored golden retriever puppy named Murphy, and my wife thought it would be fun to have an Instagram page for him. It's I think it's called @TheRealJerseyMurphy is the name. So if you're a dog lover and you want to find a cute dog and see him grow up and do goofy things, maybe that page would be interesting. And next was I'd make some of my money, actually decent money. I mean, you'll hear later how much, but I make a decent amount of money doing phone consultations as a technology expert on certain profiles, certain companies like GuidePoint Global, ProSapient, and Z Intro are companies that allow management consulting companies, private equity companies, whoever, ask to speak to experts on certain topics. These companies create a web page where you can create a kind of LinkedIn profile, and then when there's a project, some advice people need, these consultants who work for these companies would look out into the marketplace, see people who have profiles, see what kind of ratings they have, like an Uber driver has good ratings. These, people like myself get ratings, and try to link you up with topics you can talk about. You get an email alert, you fill out a survey, and you hope to get picked, and you set your hourly rate. My hourly rate is $650 an hour, and I make thousands of dollars a year getting lucky enough to be picked. So I wanted to stay relevant on this and make sure I follow any opportunities and react accordingly, which I've done. And it went pretty well. I also wanted to find new networks, and I did find one called Alpha Sites. Nothing materialized with that. I wanted to do at least 2. I found one more. So overall, with my career and side gigs, I think I did really well. I'm not sure where this year I'm going to go with some of these things, but I know for sure is one thing I'm finding, I've found passion with, and I continue to find passion with, is my health, my well-being, and my physical activity. I've come a long way with working out. I'm in, not to be, brag, but I'm in great shape. I'm in amazing shape for a 44-year-old guy, somebody who's been doing this for 5 years. I work my ass off, and I think I'd like to do something in this area. I'd like to start a blog about the way I work out, my diet, my attitude. I'm going to sign up for a physique competition in May, on May 20th. And I think I'd like to chronicle my journey, which is now about 19 weeks away. Those sort of things. I'll probably stay relevant on YouTube, and maybe even create a new YouTube channel that just focuses on fitness, where my current YouTube channel is kind of like an all-encompassing lifestyle brand. or lifestyle site where I do everything from family vacations to working out to positive mindsets and personal development and so on. So we'll see. But I'm really proud of myself overall with the career and side gigs, and feel optimistic for this year as well. Next is health and nutrition and body. First goal was for my nutrition and eating. I wanted to eat clean the majority of the time to establish optimal health, energy, and vitality. Really great job here. For those of you who don't know, I stay in really good shape by calorie counting. I make my meals every day, and I'm either bulking, which means adding weight and trying to add muscle, maintenance, which means I keep things even, or cutting, which means I'm trying to lose body fat, but also keep or even grow, if I can, my muscle mass. And the way that I do that is using a calorie counting app called Carbon, and it's a great way for me to stay on track. It's hard, it's time consuming, but if you look at it as just a way of life, it's not as bad as you think. But I do spend about an hour and 30 minutes every day making my meals, weighing everything to the gram for the following day. So I know if I stick with whatever's on my agenda for my meals, that I'll be meeting my calorie targets for that day and more importantly for that week. So I did very good here. Exercising and strength training. I will easily work out at the gym at least 4 days per week. Non-stop, no question there. Actually, I'd probably do it more like 5, sometimes even 6 days a week. 4:30 a.m. most of the time I'm up at the gym by 5, back home by 7 to start my work day. The next is I will perform high intensity training at least 3 days a week. High intensity training is regarding my cardio. Definitely did this. Then I had goals regarding some metrics. I wanted to bench press at least 315 pounds. Didn't get that far. I think 285, 290 was my max. I'm okay with that. You know, I continued to press myself in the gym. I even started taking a log. So every time I work out, I log for every exercise I do, how many reps I did, how many pounds I did, and I try to improve a little bit every day. So I did good, but I didn't hit that 315 mark, but I'm okay with that. Handstands. I love doing handstands, especially free weighted handstands, just freely. Great way to work your triceps and your shoulders. But I wanted to try to do a handstand hold, so I do a handstand and lean against the wall for 2 minutes. Didn't get 2 minutes. I think 1:40 was my max. Still really hard to do, but again, I'm cool with that. And then lastly, which is something I actually fell out of interest about, which was my body measurements. I wanted to grow my muscles, so I measured my biceps, my quads, my chest, and looked at my abdominals, and wrote down at the beginning of the year how many inches they were. My biceps were 17 inches, my mid quads was 21, my chest was almost 47 inches, and I wanted to grow each by a certain amount. And I ended up not caring so much about that because for me personally, I'm more interested in my body composition. So how lean I am, how much muscle I have, and I'm learning more and more that it's not so much how thick your muscles are, in the sense that like I'm not a professional bodybuilder. But what is more relevant for me and my age is how I can keep a low level of fat and an increased size of my muscles. And you'd be surprised, like when I'm like 190 pounds and have a little bit more body fat, but versus if I can get down to like 180, I actually look bigger at 180 because there's less fat in between my skin and my muscles, so you look more jacked or more ripped. So my goal actually is to get below 170. I want to really push the limits. And for my fitness competition on May 20th, I want to get down to like 170. That's probably like 12 to 15 pounds from where I am now, which is I think around 185. So that's my point, and that's why I'm less concerned about not meeting this goal. Next was quality sleep. Sleep is increasingly important, especially the older you get, the harder it is for your recovery. But, you know, whatever you hear about importance of sleep, it's all true. And it only gets more important the older you get. And I wanted to strongly focus on my sleeping regimen to ensure I get a minimum of 6 hours of sleep. Many people may argue that's not enough. But I get up at 4, and going to sleep to get like 8 hours of sleep really puts me getting to sleep a lot earlier than I really can. and I seem to be okay with that. And 6 hours of sleep, if I can get a solid 6 hours of quality sleep, seems to be working out for me. And I did reach that goal pretty well. My body comp. Here's what I was talking about earlier. I gauge my body comp by getting scans. I get a scan called an in-body scan. If you're not familiar with in-body scan, you get a report about it. And I did do, I think, 2 videos. If you do a search of my YouTube videos and just search in-body, one word, I-N-B-O-D-Y, you'll find more about what this is. But you basically stand on a scale and hold these handles. You have no socks on. And it sends electrical currents, which you don't feel, throughout your body and spits out a report showing you by body part how much fat you have, how much water you have, your weight, your basal metabolic rate. And it's not perfect. There's probably more closer and more accurate ones, something called a DEXA scan, which is X-ray based. And I think the most accurate one, I don't know the name of it, but you actually sit in a tub of water and they can gauge how that water is displaced. But this is definitely better than a scale, which just tells you one number, your weight, which isn't important because your weight can be influenced by many things. You can fluctuate your pounds by a couple of pounds daily, up or down, depending on your diet the day before and so on. So I'm more concerned with my body composition and using this kind of report because it may not be perfect, but it's a good gauge. So what was my goal? My goal was I wanted to get several in-body scans during the year. I actually said 6 in-body scans. I didn't get 6. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Once every 3 months is fine with me. Maybe when I get closer to my competition, I'll do it more frequently, but I did 4 of these. February 10th, April 2nd, September 30th, and December 31st. I wanted to have a body fat percentage of no more than 9%. I wanted to have skeletal muscle mass no less than 105 pounds. And I wanted my total body weight to be no more than 180 pounds. How did I do? Well, on December 31st, I weighed 190 pounds. I was 10 pounds higher than I wanted. I had a skeletal muscle mass of 101 pounds instead of 105. My body fat percentage was 8%, so it was 1% less than 9%. Overall, I think I did very well. I think eating during the holidays without calorie counting definitely added a couple of pounds. Maybe more realistically, I could have and should have been around 186. So I'm not really upset with this. When I look in the mirror, I'm really happy with myself, and I know I can continue to even do better. So I'm really not worried about it. And overall, I feel extremely healthy, and that's what's most important. So that's that. My annual wellness visits, I make it a goal and a priority every year to ensure I go to the dentist regularly twice a year. I did that on March 31st and September 28th. No cavities, no issues, feel good, look good. Happy with that. From a health perspective, I do 1 annual physical where I get blood work, urine samples, and I take a look at all of my metrics. My KPIs like my cholesterol, triglycerides, all my vitamins and so on. And I did that on December 20th. And I did well. I had slightly elevated cholesterol, nothing that's a risk, but I realized that I could change up my diet. I ate a very high number of eggs every day, which really spiked, I think, every day my cholesterol. And I've switched, for example, instead of doing that, I used to have 3 eggs every day. On top of that, sometimes red meats and so on. And I didn't have as much fiber in my diet. And I think those 2 factors can counterbalance each other. So now what I've been doing is worrying more about eating egg white liquids. Just as good protein content, just as good amino acids can help build muscle, but also increase my fiber intake. And I think those 2 factors as well will and should prove to keep my cholesterol back under 200, which it normally was. Dermatology, I started going to the dermatologist every year, and I did that on March 1st, and thank God all is okay. So I'll go back in a year's time. So health, nutrition, body, really pleased with myself here. Continue to kill it this next 12 months and get even better at it. And like I said, I'm going to look to start a blog, a website, a new YouTube channel that just focuses on my station in terms of my health and physical fitness. So I'll keep you posted on that. My next goal, personal development and spirituality. Several goals here. First is dealing with giving daily gratitude, writing in a journal, and daily affirmations. So first was every day I will write in my gratitude journal. I did do this every day. I would wake up and write 3 things in my gratitude journal. But I stopped doing this in like October. Yeah, I did this for about a little over a year, and it's an amazing habit, and I would highly recommend it. But I stopped writing in a journal, but it doesn't mean I stopped giving gratitude. Every single day when I step out of bed, I put myself in a mindset, not lying, like saying to myself, today will be an amazing day. And I think about all the great things I have in my life, simple things. So I'm technically still giving gratitude, I'm just not writing it in a journal, but I'm getting the same result. Every day I will read 5 daily affirmation cards. I don't have it right in front of me, but on index cards, I have about 40 or 50 affirmations about positive quotes, positive messages, which with the goal of reading 4 or 5 of these cards every day, I can put myself in the right mindset. Again, I may not be reviewing these cards anymore, but I've been doing it for so many months that it's now a habit where I just say them in my head. So I do give gratitude every day. I do say in my head daily affirmations. And every week I also wanted to write and reflect in a personal journal. I haven't been a big writer. I think I did write a couple of times every few months when I have something to share or something on my mind. I did write at the end of the year and maybe during major milestones like someone's birthday or whatnot. But I will continue to keep this open. My silly idea is, when I'm much older and maybe my kids or grandkids want to learn a bit more about their dad or granddad, some of what I wrote in my journal they could just read and have handy, or I can hand down to them. So I try to stay relevant, try to keep content in there. Just I'm not forcing myself to write something at the end of a week when I really don't have something to write about. So that's it. When it comes to reading, this one's always a challenge for me. My goal was I will overcome my poor reading habits and easily read at least 10 books in 2022. I read 4, or maybe even almost 4. I started reading or listening to on Kindle the autobiography of Andrew Carnegie. Didn't finish that. I did read a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I read a very short book, but very interesting, called Acres of Diamonds by Russell Conwell. I read a great book by Dr. Meg Meeker called Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters. I started reading and didn't finish another book by the same doctor called Boys Should Be Boys. And more recently, in the start of the year, started reading a finance type of book called The Fast Lane to Wealth, or The Wealth Fast Lane, or something like that. Not a lot. I mean, I really believe still that reading's important. The free time I have and the quiet time I have is not easy when you're a dad of 2 kids, when you're married, you got a full-time job, and I'm not making excuses. I just need to structure my day better to at least at minimum give me 15 free minutes, which I have. I just got to have that book handy when those minutes arrive. And when I do that, if you read 10 pages a day times 30 days in a month, that's 300 pages. The majority of books, are at least 300 pages or less. And that's why I think reading a book a month shouldn't be that bad if you stick with the habit. So I will continue to try here. I didn't do a great job with that, but we'll see. The last goal is I will review my goals at least once per week to keep me on track, see where I'm falling behind. And I did do that. Normally I do that early in the mornings on the weekend. So besides the reading, the other thing I really glossed over here, I don't know how I did that, my evening ritual. I perform my evening ritual at least 5 days a week, which is normally doing a few things like setting the priorities for the next day, looking at or my accomplishments for the day. I have a vision board, which is a big poster board with pictures of things I hope to manifest in my life. I normally wanted to look at that 2 days a week. I didn't do that every week, but I do still do it when I'm brushing my teeth at night, before I go to bed, just to kind of keep those thoughts on your head. So need to maybe spend a little bit more time in the evenings, kind of planning out the week or the day. But in the morning, I normally did a great job. I reviewed my goals every week, keeps things on the forefront of your mind, so that's good. Next was dealing with my religion and God. Every day I will connect with God either through prayer, gratitude, or conversation. Never fails, always happens. I pray regularly. Every night, Stephanie, my wife, and I will say prayers with our daughter before we go to bed. 9 times out of 10, that's happening. Normally with both of us, if not with both of us, one of us. So we never really miss that opportunity. We will support our daughter who's going through a weekly religious studies program as she receives her sacraments. We're Catholic. That's going well. She did that until April 5th, and that picked up again September 22nd. So all is going well there. What didn't go well is I wanted her to see our family attend the church mass at least once a month. I think this happened like twice. And I find it important for children, our children, I mean, to have God in their life. And I believe God is in their life with the habits we have, like saying prayers every day, when we have dinner, before we go to sleep. But attending church is something I personally like to do as we can. So I hope to do better with this year. Last year wasn't so good. Next is family and personal relationships. Here I have goals to make sure I keep good relationships with my wife, with my kids, with my family, and my friends. Here with my wife, every day I want to ensure I express my love and appreciation to my beautiful wife. At least once a month, I will plan out a nice dinner so we can maintain sufficient alone and adult time and keep the romance high in our relationship. And what I do is on the back of this page, I actually have like a table with the family member, and for each month, some personal notes like what we did, both to reminisce and both to see how I'm doing. I would say with my wife, we did a really good job of this for most of the months. February, March, April, we had plans to go to Aruba, but we had COVID, so that got moved, but we did do that. In May, in June, a family trip there was a trip they took to Boston. In July, we did dinner. August, we had our weekly vacation in LBI. September, we stayed in Atlantic City overnight. And then several other occasions of get-togethers, dinners, and so on. The month of November seems like it was quiet, but I feel like my wife and I did a good job with this last year overall. Certainly being a parent can get in the way of the one-to-one time, but you got to put in the work. And things aren't always perfect, but we do our best, and I'm very pleased with where we are in our relationship. And this year, we'll strive to continue in the same manner. With my daughter, wanted to continue every day to focus on ensuring I express my love for my daughter and my affection towards her, help her with her school studies when needed. I wanted to practice being more patient and striving to motivate her to do her best in life, and try to ensure I plan at least once per month one-on-one daddy-daughter time. When it comes to this, I think I did a good job overall. I do need to practice being more patient. I'm not as patient as I could be when things happen in a certain way. Kids being kids, the way that they can talk to you, talk to your wife, be laxed about important things like homework, not listen. You can certainly lose your cool sometimes, and afterwards you maybe feel bad about something you said, the way you acted. And I try to do my best to balance being a parent that shows where there are boundaries and where there are rules, to also losing my cool. And that's something I want to continue working on. But with my daughter, same thing. We had, looks like every month, definitely something we did together. Mostly me taking her out to lunch. Sometimes we had to go shopping for things like shopping together for her Mother's Day gift. And I think overall we did do well. In December, me and my daughter did go to church in the beginning of December, which I really enjoyed. Sometimes we had everyone else out of the house, and like in the summertime, we went into the pool, our outside pool together. We did night swimming. So this will still continue. And not to repeat, but the same goals I had with my son, who's 3 years old, a bit younger. We did do some fun things and some things I posted some content on. Did a lot of playing outside. Took him to the park. We got to go together in May to get his first haircut, which was a lot of fun. And now we do that every 2 months or so. Took him shopping with me at Lowe's to buy some stuff around the house. Yeah, so that went well. And then as a family, you know, I wanted to keep a focus on extended family with my parents, with my siblings. We did do a couple of fun things this year. Had a big barbecue, planned a big barbecue at my house with my cousins and my aunt, which was a lot of fun. People I haven't seen in many months. So we hosted them at our house. Some friends who I grew up with and haven't seen in a while, we had at our house on October 16th. And also got a chance in March to visit my old college roommate. So you see, when you have these goals, maybe you're not always able to do things as fast as you want, but when you read them on a weekly basis, you're going to continue to plant seeds in the future where you can plan for things. And that's really what I hope to achieve. And sometimes, again, when you have your own family, when you have your job, when you have your own life, it's easy for time to go by when you need to keep in touch with certain people. And with these kinds of goals, that's my hope to do. And that's what I've been able to do at a pretty good level. Keeping in touch with close friends, got a chance to go out to lunch with some my buddies who I grew up with, and that's either a quick lunch, coffee. In December, I actually went out to dinner with 3 other buddies of mine, and one of the guys I've known for almost 40 years. He's a very successful guy. He's a principal at an elementary school, and the 2 other guys I grew up with, but I haven't seen in many months. One guy I didn't even see for about 2 years or so. But when I got together with these guys in December, and it was like I saw them 2 days ago. So it was a great feeling. Friends are so important, and it's important to keep in touch with them. Regarding family and personal relationships, some sad news. We lost a family dog, Cassidy, on June 21st. Cassidy was a rescue dog we had for, I think, 6 or 7 years. I think he was 15. We lost a long-standing cat member of the family, Meow Meow. She died on September 1st. Those are really hard days. Meow Meow used to live outside of a townhome we used to live in. We brought her in, and she was an amazing member of the family, an amazing cat. Kids loved them. She loved the kids, and it was sad to see them grow old. Meow Meow was close to 20 years old. We thought he was like 17. And then finally on December 8th, I got to do a great Christmas dinner, an annual dinner with coworkers I worked with about 20 years ago. And we've been getting together for the last 12 years or so for an annual Christmas dinner, which was an amazing day. Same thing, you know, you don't see these guys for most of the year. You get together, it's just like old times. So really good with the family and personal relationships. Next is travel and lifestyle. This one went really well, I think, too. First goal was to do a family, continue a tradition for the last, I think now 6 or 7 years, doing 1 week in Long Beach Island, which is a fun beach town, only about an hour away, called LBI, as I said. And this is something we did in August of 2022. I wanted to finance and support my family to do this week, which is something we look forward to. So as I said, we did it in August. It was an amazing trip, August 6th to the 13th. I'm happy to say that we booked already the same week for this year in an even better house. It's a beautiful home. We do it with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and the families. So this went well. Wanted to do a Boston weekend, which is where my brother-in-law lives with his family. We were able to do that in February 18th to the 20th. I was able to use some good points for my Marriott program. Stayed in a nice suite for free. Flew United Airlines for free. Was a great trip. Next, I wanted to do another family vacation, but it turned out to be a getaway with my wife to celebrate our 10-year wedding anniversary. We booked an amazing trip, had an amazing time in Aruba. We were supposed to do this on April 28th, but we got COVID, so we were thankfully able to reschedule it to May 20th. Here was another amazing time. I did do a video about this on my YouTube channel. We stayed there for 5 nights, stayed in a beautiful property, a Marriott property called the Stellaris. It's right on the beach. We got a junior suite, wraparound porch right on the beach facing the water for free because of all my Marriott points. I flew my wife first class on United Airlines for free. due to the amount of miles I had. If you're wondering how I had so many miles, before COVID, I used to travel all around the world, mostly to Europe, first class, fully paid for by my job. Every 6 weeks, I would travel for 1 week. Sometimes when I did trips like to Tokyo, Jakarta, I would stay for 2 weeks. So I gathered a lot of points. At one point, I probably had over 1 million airline miles. Now I think I have around 250 to 300,000 because of using them for vacations. But I'm very blessed to have this and very grateful. I did want to consider doing a weekend trip for Christmas to some place like Hershey, Pennsylvania, which we did the year prior, but we didn't. Instead, what we did do is hoped we would do a trip to a place called Kalahari, which is an indoor water park near the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania, which is a popular ski resort area. And actually, we did do this just in the last 2 weeks, and it was a great time. And the kids loved it, and we probably will look to do this around Christmas going forward. Home renovations. Hoping to get a good bonus, which I did get. I wanted to do a ton of home renovations, and I'm so blessed that because of our financial situation, we were able to do this, and we did a lot of work. We first set out wanting to do a full basement renovation, but when I got a bill of charging close to like $70,000, I put that on hold. Instead, what did we do? We fully renovated our living room. We redid molding, completely redid our fireplace area, put in new furniture, and then did bookshelves. Actually, you can see in the background a little bit, that room there is fully renovated. We did custom built-ins. That TV mounted on a wall is the Samsung frame TV. And we put a electric fireplace underneath. That's the living room, just to give you a quick glance. We redid the layout of our family room. Again, we redid molding, beautiful wainscot molding around our fireplace, marble around the fireplace itself. I wanted to do new guardrails and steps in front of our front door, which we didn't do, and do some uplighting in front of our home, which we didn't do. But we fully painted our family room, got new family room furniture. I personally did install the brand new outdoor waterless pond, a waterless waterfall, a pondless waterfall it's called. It kind of circulates into itself. That came out really nice. We completely renovated our laundry room. We completely renovated our outdoors. If you look at my YouTube channel, you'll see some videos. We put in beautiful, like 11-foot fireplace, stone, new pavers, outdoor kitchen with a grill, sink, side burner. Really proud of that. Really blessed that we were able to do that. And did new molding around our kitchen and family room. Got a brand new TV, a new Samsung frame TV. So really happy about the way things went with our home. And additional lifestyle accomplishments. We got a new puppy, as I said, in November of 2022. We got a golden retriever puppy, Murphy. My wife and I did an unexpected overnight trip to Atlantic City at a really nice place called Ocean on September 22nd. I did get a new tattoo on my left arm on June 7th, which wasn't planned. Did hurt a lot. And that's it. So I'm really happy with the travel and lifestyle we had last year. Very blessed at all that was accomplished. And hope to see the same this coming year. Just looking at the time. We have 2 more left. Finances and my public service and charity. Finances. By the end of 2022, I wanted to increase my net worth by a minimum of $200,000. This did not happen. The market got crushed. A lot of my investments, like most people, lost money. So what I did have record of is in every quarter I just track my investments pretty crudely on paper. But I started out the year with a net worth of $1.5 million, which had about $104,000 in savings, I counted my home equity, which was 300,000. I have a whole life insurance policy, which wasn't a ton, almost 16 grand. And at that time, this is at the end of the year, 2021. And then between my stocks, my retirement, 401k, Roth IRA, I had quite a bit. Actually, it was a huge milestone for me. At the end of the year in 2021, that was worth 1.08 million collectively. I mean, that was when the market was crushing it, right? Then as the year progressed, so I ended that year 1.5 million. If this goal was reached, that would have been 1.7 million. But at the end of the year, instead of being at 1.7 million, I was almost right where I started. So 1.44 million is where I was on January 1st of this year. And I ended the year prior at 1.49. So I lost about $50,000. Not that bad if you think about it, but certainly not possible considering the market conditions. But even though the market didn't do well, I continued to save, continue to invest. And that's I think a sound strategy where you can't predict the market. And even though the market's not doing well, stick to what your goals are in terms of investing. Because when you can invest when the market's down, you'll buy more shares of something. So when it comes up, you'll appreciate your value even more. It's always important to maybe balance what you're doing and maybe be less risky if you want to take that gamble. I'm not a professional investor, but I do balance kind of the weight of what kind of money I put in cash, in bonds, in growth stocks, in high value stocks, in emerging stocks. And so far I've been doing pretty well. I mean, I've amassed quite a bit over my career, but I just keep to what I've got in terms of my strategy and don't change how much I invest, even though the market's not doing well. In fact, in some cases, I picked up some stocks in certain sectors. So this goal I'm not too annoyed about because I know I don't have to retire for many years and it will come back. I also, because money was cheap, I wanted to get a home equity line of credit open just to use it in case of an emergency. And I did get a home equity line of credit for $200,000. I am using that a little bit, but nothing major. But the goal was I can keep this open for the next 10 years, which is called the draw period. And then I have another 15 years after that to pay it off. So that was cool. Debt reduction. By the end of May 2022, I wanted to eliminate all my credit card debt and assess if I could do the same for my wife's student loans, which I did do at the end of May. I had just a little bit left over, but unfortunately, I did put a bit on again for a number of different reasons, but I'll definitely pay that off in March of this year and probably not have to worry about the credit card debt anymore. I really want to eliminate all of my credit card debt this year and try to plan out the remaining student loan debt I have for my wife, which is now about $19,000. Very annoying to pay it, but it is what it is. My side gig revenue, I wanted to make at least $7,500 with my side gig. And actually, every time I took a call, you see here in the back, every time I took a call, I would write it down and log it. And I didn't make the $7,500, but I did get $6,283.67, which was a great accomplishment. It's like my wife's coming home, so the dogs are going to freak out in a moment. But I did great on this one, and we'll continue to look at that. And then strategic business investments. I was looking at opportunities to make investments in either real estate or even being an investor in a company. One or two opportunities did come up when I look at, but nothing came in. The market was so hot, I didn't buy real estate because of the value of the homes. Maybe this year, the year after, I'll be more seriously looking at this. And then in terms of, my tracking, as you can see, I have a table here. For every investment type, I keep track every quarter of my value. And it's a good way to see where you've been, where you're at, where you're going. And overall, I'm very proud of myself for my personal investments. Tricky time this year, tricky time in the economy. Things could be a little nerve-wracking. But you got to stay confident, keep a level head, stick to your strategy, and don't make emotional decisions. It's the best advice I could give. Last is public service and charity. Here I wanted to make charitable contributions of about $7,500. I didn't reach this goal. I made about donated $4,000 to different charities, most of which went to my church, a lot to St. Jude's. I invested in some new things, local food banks, Goodwill, a company called Charity Water, which brings water systems, water purifying systems to low-income areas around the world, like in Africa. $4,000 is what I met. Could have done more, but happy with what I achieved. And then last was giving back. I wanted to do some public service and donate my time, even with my family, around 10 hours this year, maybe at a senior center in my church. And I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't do anything officially. And that's not something I'm proud of. I think it's so important to give your time back to your community, to your church, to include your children in that. And this is definitely a goal that I'm going to look to do this year. So all in all, guys, this is my goals for 2022. Very happy with myself for the year 2022. I think I came a long way personally, financially, a long way with my body, my physical activity, my habits around exercising and working out. And I hope to continue to do the same this year. In the next week or two, I will look to document and do my 2023 goal setting and do a video on that. Otherwise, guys, thank you for the attention. If you have any questions about goal setting or whatever I mentioned in the video, feel free to chat on the comment section. I normally am pretty good with responding. Encourage you to look to do the same. Take your life seriously. Remember one thing: time is the only real currency we have in our life. And how you use your currency is most important. If you don't use it, someone else or something else will. Then you'll find yourself lost. Thanks, guys. God bless. Until next time.